With Christmas 10 days away, I'm going to continue to discuss what every single NFL team and their fan base wants for Christmas. Today's going to be part 3 of this series, and I'm going to be going over the NFC North. And now, with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into it. The Bears fans are going to be hoping for a playoff win because the Bears haven't won a playoff game since 2010, and that's the season when they beat the Seahawks in the divisional round. Since then, they haven't had any hope at quarterback, but Caleb Williams has looked solid this season. The Bears are currently sitting at second in the NFC and have 3 tough games coming up. Although a playoff spot isn't guaranteed, it's seeming very likely at this point that the Bears will make the playoffs. With the Packers up next on their schedule, that will most likely decide the winner of the NFC North. The Bears lost their first matchup against the Packers only by a touchdown, so it wouldn't surprise me to see them take this one and split the series. Of course, making the playoffs this season would be a big win for Bears fans, especially after a rough start losing to the Vikings, then letting the Lions put up 52. But getting to the playoffs isn't the only fun part. They're going to want to win a playoff game for the first time in 15 years. Vikings fans want to see growth from McCarthy. When the Vikings won their first game this season, McCarthy's first start of his career, he looked pretty solid. Since then, he's been injured and hasn't been playing good football for the most part. Against the Cowboys, though, McCarthy looked pretty decent. He threw for 250 yards and 2 touchdowns, and although he threw an interception as well, the Vikings did win the game 34-27. With McCarthy being the Vikings' first-round pick in a QB-loaded class in 2024, fans are going to want to see him show improvement through the last 3 games of the year. After letting Sam Darnold walk last season, who's helped the Seahawks to 11 wins so far this year, the Vikings are probably regretting giving the keys to McCarthy before he ever started a regular season game. The fans of the Vikings are for sure disappointed having to watch their team go from great quarterback play to subpar play in the same year, or just 1 year apart. But with 3 games left, McCarthy can still show some growth, giving fans optimism into next year. Halfway through the video now, go ahead and like the video if you're enjoying so far and comment any of your thoughts below, and go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss the rest of the series. Lions fans are going to want to see the playoff streak stay alive. The Lions are currently on the outside looking in of the playoffs, and they've been to the playoffs for the last 3 years and have been eliminated in disappointing ways the past 2 by first losing a nail-biter against the Niners, then being upset by the Commanders. With 3 years in a row being the most the Lions have ever consecutively gone to the playoffs, they'd like to sneak in this year to make it 4 years in a row, setting a franchise record. Of course, in the offseason, they lost their OC and defensive coordinator, Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson, but the Lions have still had an 8-6 record, but definitely haven't looked as elite the past couple years. With only 3 games left to play, it's going to be hard for them to make the playoffs though, considering they need to win out, and even that wouldn't give them a guaranteed spot. But Lions fans went through so much struggle for so long. If they missed the playoffs this year, it feels like the team may have missed the window to win the Super Bowl. But this team has smart coaching and management now, unlike they have in previous years. So even missing the playoffs this season, I still believe they can get it back next year. But of course, the fans would love to keep the streak alive. Packers this year are going to want to win the Super Bowl because what's a better way to shut up the Jordan Love haters than to just win the Super Bowl? Of course, the Packers definitely aren't the favorites in the NFC right now because that belongs to either the Rams or Seahawks, but after a couple successful seasons with Love, the goal is to win the Super Bowl. Love has strung together another solid season for himself so far, and the Packers have been playing solid on both sides of the ball, where on offense they are near top 5 in yards per game, and on defense they're just outside of the top 10. The Packers fans have definitely gotten used to having one of the best teams in the league year in and year out, and should definitely be looking towards their next Super Bowl win. The Packers, though, did just lose Micah Parsons with a torn ACL, which will definitely hurt this team through the playoffs and the rest of the season, but they're still a solid team all around, and I think they can still make a push this year. Thank you all for watching, and have a great one.